Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's fireside chat, Crossing the Chasm, Gaining Academy Adoption. We're going to talk about how app properties drove adoption of the At Academy. My name is Ariel Kranzow. Today, I'm talking with Kevin Van Eck, EVP of Innovation at App Properties. To quickly tell you a bit about Kevin, for those of you who don't know, he's been responsible for many incredible projects, including the creation of At Academy. Today we're going to discover how he went about creating such a successful education and training program. Like we do for our online courses, I always like to set an intention for the conversation. So today, you'll leave here with an understanding of what ideas and tactics Kevin used for the At Academy to create a successful program and how you can adopt them for your online learning program to keep learners engaged and coming back to learn time and time again. So let's hear what he had to say. Kevin, I'd love to if you could tell me a little bit of the beginnings of the At Academy. How did you recognize the need to bring it to fruition?
Sure. I think and this ties a little bit into the story of App Properties as well. So for us, learning and education and constantly improving skills has always been a core value of App Properties. And so the issue really became as we scaled. And I think we've grown really quickly. 2000, we had 5 people. Now we have 3,600 locally in the Chicagoland area. So that's really rapid growth across the region. And so we had to find a way to continue making training and coaching and education a part of our culture, but across a wide array where we couldn't scale with people. So for us, that's where we really realized we needed an LMS. And so there's some history there where we started with a light LMS, but we realized we needed something far more robust and something that was customizable. And as our company grew into other brands and into franchising, we really needed something that was much more powerful. And so that's where we approached Northpass.
Yeah. And so how long has your academy been live for at this point?
So now we're going on, let's call it 2 years.
Yeah.
Just about 2 years, if my math is correct. And it's been, it's been interesting because at the same time, over the last 2 years, the company has grown enormously, and we've been able to do exactly what we intended, which is scale training and coaching across the company. And now, without getting into the detail, but now we're international. So that provides another twist. Which is the main reason why we knew we needed an academy.
Yeah, it's got to be hard with a growing business too. And that's a lot of people come to us and they're saying, we were doing live trainings or we were doing virtual trainings, but we were doing them live and it just got too much and needed something to sort of level out where the company's growth can meet headcount and really make progress as you move forward. So thinking back to when you launched, did you launch with one course? What was the most important course you think or that you launched at the beginning?
I think for us, there are a couple of things. I think for us, we wanted to have great courses or great content there from the beginning. We didn't have this pressure of we needed 100 different courses to choose from. There's really some core training or core pathways that we have at App Properties when it comes to something like the Perfect Series. And the Perfect Series, and this is really specific to real estate, but the perfect listing presentation, perfect negotiation, we wanted a few of those core courses that apply to all of our agents. So there was a reason for them to go in there, but we didn't focus on, needing 300 different courses. It was really just making sure we had some quality courses in there to start creating the habit for our agents and staff to use At Academy.
Yeah. So that is something that when we talk to people who are starting a course, they feel like, oh, they look at massive courses. They look at, your academy, they look at HubSpot Academy and they see, oh, these are just like massive academies with lots of resources behind them. And something we remind everybody is that everybody started somewhere, say like one problem, one course, like
figure out the first thing you need to fix and go on to the next. How did you scale it from there? Like, where did that, with the and being able to keep up the quality of the courses, because the courses that you have are really engaging and keep people wanting to learn the next course and the next course.
Well, thank you for that. I think it is overwhelming. It can be, admittedly, when we were mapping out what the course production would look like, what the syllabus would look like for each stage of our agents, whether it was a new licensee that was just getting into the industry or somebody that had been, a veteran. So I'll admit it's probably what a lot of people have felt as they're building an academy. For us, it was really about taking a step back. So I think it was, okay, what is going to have the largest impact on culture, like I talked about before, but also, a big part of the academy and learning being a part of the culture is retention, making sure that we can retain staff and agents and give them, I know it's cliche, but give them something of value that makes them feel great. They have the ability to go out, they can take something from the academy and use it immediately. So that's what we did. We looked at the course, we laid out all the courses and then determined, okay, for production, where do we prioritize that it's going to have the biggest impact, whether it's on revenue, whether it's on employee recognition or employee development, internal growth. And that's how we did it. And over time, that's how we built, to the number of courses and learning paths that we have.
Yeah. So what were those initial goals you set for the academy and how did you measure its success?
Good question. I think this is often overlooked. I think, and a little more background on App Properties. We've developed our own internal technology. And I know there are some real estate firms out there and brokerages that talk about developing their own technology. We truly have. We have, 36 engineers, UI, UX designers, product owners, product managers, data scientists, et cetera. The reason I'm bringing that up is for us, adoption is really important. We don't want to roll out tools, or in this case, we don't want to roll out an academy where we don't know if it's being used, where we don't know if there's not necessarily an ROI, because value can be intrinsic and extrinsic, especially when it comes to culture, but you have to track. And that's where really the analytics within Northpass have come in handy. So my goals at the beginning to get as many people into Ad Academy as possible from the very first launch within the first 2 weeks. And it is about creating that habit. So for us, it was driving agents there, having them take one course or complete one assignment in one of the courses at the beginning, because once they know how to get there and what the format is like, how to click and enroll, how to come back if you haven't finished a course, once they've done that a couple of times, then it becomes second nature. So our goal was really to engage as many of our agents as possible. Is there a number? I didn't set a number at the beginning. I think it was, let's see, 100% is a lofty goal. So I wanted to see, and I really put the onus on the local office managers to drive their agents in. We could talk more about that, but I think that was the key, is that getting as many agents in as early as possible.
Yeah, something that you said there is that you put the onus on other people within the company to get people in the door. And that's something like when we talk about launching your academy and marketing your academy, there's always okay, yeah, I'm going to send an email, whether it's for customer education, whether you're onboarding partners or your gig workforce, there's always, okay, fine, we send an email, we can put a post on social, we can, do the basics. But what a lot of people forget to utilize are the people that work with them day in, day out. And if you have anybody that is, I'll just say, learner facing, so anybody that is going to touch anybody who could benefit from your academy, you got to onboard them and make them advocates for the academy and make that part of the launch plan and the adoption plan, because you can send out an email all you want, but if you're not having people within the company, be excited about the academy that you're building and talk about it every chance that they can to benefit learners, then you're missing a huge opportunity. And I think that's in place where people often forget to do it. Either they're, not so sure about taking over like the whole sales team, like in SaaS, like your customer success team, like get them all revved up about the academy, which is why you need to make your courses great. Because if you're not willing, right, like you're not willing to shout it from the rooftops, no one else is. So it's something like you have to make sure that the content that you're sharing is worth shouting about.
Yeah, it has to be buzzworthy, right? Think about it. And so a couple of things that you said that really, number one is a lot of us in the corporate world or in any industry really is that there are very few people that are responsible for learning, right? You might be one person responsible or two people for corporate learning in a company of, call it 5,000. Well, that's a lot of people that you have to message to. And Ariel, to your point, we can send out emails all day. And it's not that people are lazy. A lot of times we say, well, people don't read their email or they're lazy or they're low attention span. And that's not the case. People are being bombarded by everything all the time. So this is where it goes hand in hand, what you were saying, which is utilize everybody within the organization to promote. So when it comes to, front desk admins, when it comes to other staff within the offices or operations, everybody understanding within your industry, you can pinpoint these people, use them to be your mouthpieces, because across a large corporation, especially if people are work from home or hybrid, or it's really hard to reach people. So if you have someone, that also then adds to the culture. People contacting each other, how are you doing? And then saying, hey, I just want to make sure you knew about the new course that was in the academy. It's all about personal finance, like, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. But that ties directly into the second piece of what you were saying, which is if you have great courses in there that are dynamic, not boring. It's not the typical click here. If it's a tutorial, it's not someone, I'll speak freely, a snooze fest in front of a blank wall, someone warbling on for 30 minutes. Like, if you make it interesting, agents will, or people, your teams will want to go there and they'll talk about it. Yeah. They'll talk about it amongst each other. You have the ability to create something that's buzzworthy by inserting humor, by inserting, whatever's appropriate for your culture. Make it interesting. Otherwise, you're just like every other all the other noise that's out there.
Yeah, that's, it's really hard to, even for me as doing content marketing, right? It's hard to break through all the noise. You can't just write. You used to be able to just like throw up a blog post and put it on social media and everyone's going to read it and come back to your website. And even in the last like 4 or 5 years, it's changed. Like, even if like go look on LinkedIn, right? Like no companies are really just like posting blog posts, where 4 or 5 years ago, like that's all that was on a company's feed was, hey, we wrote this blog, share it. Hey, here's this ebook that we made, share it. And so people are getting smarter about finding the right content. Like, nobody wants anymore just to like have something just like thrown in their face. They see too much. And so you really have to make sure that what you're creating is worth their time and worth their effort. And if it is, then you won't have a problem with it.
Yeah. And I think to that point, social media, I don't know if everyone knows Gary V, right? So if you don't know him and you look him up, language, just, watch it with your children maybe. But I think but what Gary V is really good at is capturing attention, and he talks about it a lot. And I think when we look at social media, we can translate that over to what we put in our academies, because we're trying to capture attention. We want people to watch for the duration of the video. So if you watch how people create short form video, I think we have a lot to learn from TikTok and from stories and reels. And I don't mean all the, stickers and all that. What I do mean is it captures people's attention. If you can create courses and learning that captures people's attention, you don't need to work as hard at driving adoption. It will happen organically.
Yeah. And let's take a step back for a second and thinking about like when people are coming to market their academy, What are some of the, like, would you be able to identify, like, were there any like mistakes or things that you wish you did differently?
Always. I think, I think we're really good at adoption. I mean, it sounds egotistical, but I've been working on, adoption and rollout plans really intensely and intently since 2012. Because I think, in our industry, just some background, and it varies in Europe. So in England, it's different. In Canada, it's relatively the same as the States. But essentially, real estate agents in the United States are 1099 employees. For them to move to a different brokerage is very simple. They go online, they click 3 buttons, and now they're working for a different company. It's as simple as that. So the onus is on the brokerage to provide value. And so with that, the academy, like I said, is a big piece of the value, helping them learn, grow their business, feel like they're part of something. But the 1099 employee agents, they work remotely for the most part. And so, and I know a lot of our teams across industries now do. So capturing attention, what we were just talking about, is really key. As they're focused on relationships with their clients, they're focused on transactions, paperwork, whatever it is, in their day-to-day. We have to do something really special to get their attention, to get them to click into Ad Academy. So the mistakes, we review every time we roll something out. Okay, what could have been done differently? Well, I think that what would have been done differently for us would have been something we do with typically all of our tech, which is create super users and an initial. They're not true beta testers. We're already moving forward with it. We're not determining if we're moving forward with it, but they're the initial beta testers that go in. And with the academy, I would have mirrored testimonials where we get that super user group in, we get testimonials off the bat, and then use that to promote and highlight those agents or staff members when we launch full scale. So that would have been one of the ways that I would have changed. We rolled out the academy, which I was a little disappointed in myself, because it's typically what we do when we roll out new tech. I didn't follow the plan exactly.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, to be very honest, I've had a bunch of conversations with people about academy launches and thinking back, and it's really the first time I've heard about like making sure you get testimonials about your academy so that you can use it in promotion. And video testimonials is something that is becoming sort of more and more popular in terms of promotion. So it used to be, okay, you talk about your product and then people come to your website or to your academy, and then you can go in and find a testimonial. And really, I've been seeing more and more just get people's faces out there and sharing. People will watch the videos, and if they see customers or people who are happy with your courses, they'll go in, and the likelihood of them going in and trying it is more. So that's, really great learning to share with everybody else on the call right now. Because it's not something that I'd say most people are doing right off the bat. And so I think that that's something that can really like boost engagement at the beginning. And the more, we always talk about at Northpass, cultivate passionate fans. And you want to create fans of your academy. And that's how you get people excited about it and coming back to take more and more courses. There's one thing that we've talked about before earlier in the chat is talking about adoption and having agents come back and return and take more courses and more courses. Is there anything that you've done in particular besides just creating great content? Is there anything that you've done in particular to try and get people back?
Yeah, I think let's talk about initial adoption too, because it's something we carry through whether we're launching the academy or now after 2 years. I think a lot of times we roll something out, right? So as humanity, as in corporate America or whatever you want to call it, we roll things out and then we don't talk about it again. So to your point, Ariel, we have to continue driving it. If we invested in this product, or we invested in this LMS. We invested in the academy, the time and energy to do it. You can't let it die, right? There was a reason why we built it. So first, from the adoption standpoint, you want everyone to get in there early. And I would highly suggest doing this. It's something we've been doing for about 6 years here, and you can do it and tailor it to your industry and who your clients or who your audience is. But for us, we advertise to our own people. So what I mean by that, and this is not only at the beginning when we're launching the academy, but ongoing when we have a new course, when we have new content, a couple of things. We do Facebook and Instagram marketing to our own people, to our own agents. We do direct mail to our own agents. We do cookie target. So we use AdWorks to target our own people, to make sure that they know and see in their daily lives. They see Ad Academy. They see there's a new course. And Ariel, to your point, testimonials are really powerful. Testimonials are really powerful if you use someone that's recognizable and liked within the industry or liked within your organization, and then make sure the testimonials are dynamic. Like, that's the only thing I would say. I recently, they're not on, so it's okay. We recently did a testimonial video, and it was the most boring testimonial video you've ever seen in your life. It was almost like people were giving eulogies. And so, we have to be really cautious, because the same way you said passion, the word passion, anything we put out there has to have energy, has to have passion behind it. Otherwise, it's not interesting. So one recent reminder for me about testimonials, make sure it's interesting.
Yeah, that's a really great, especially getting people on camera. Everybody's fine to give a quote. I'll send you an email with a quote, no problem. But to get people on camera, not everyone's comfortable. And even people who you think would be great on camera aren't always great on camera. And, I'm not like the world's best person on camera, but I try. And it's really like we have people here that, like, I was just like, would love to put them into a webinar with me. And they're like, oh, no, I never want to be on camera. And it's like, you have to really find that person. And even if it's a great company, sometimes you have to walk away from the video testimonial, because it doesn't always translate.
Right.
And that's a hard skill you almost have to be like a casting director.
Yes.
Which it's not an easy skill.
But to the point of, continuing to drive, I think that then that's also where you continue to engage your team. So if you have, like I said, however your org structure is set up, it's really highlighting the people that can spread the word for you in a one-on-one or small group method, where everyone that comes into the office that day or everyone they talk to that day, they just have a tagline. Hey, I just want to make sure also, it's been great talking with you and catching up. I just want to make sure that you remember to go to X, or that we have this, or that perfect prospecting was just launched, or, whatever it is. Use everybody within the organization, because over time, then you're creating total awareness and driving people back.
Absolutely. So just trying to wrap up here a little bit before we get into the Q&A. Sort of a last question. You've mentioned it a few times throughout our conversation, was talking about creating learning as part of your culture within the company. Yeah. What can you do to actually make that part of the essence of your company? And how do you get it from being, everyone's just sort of clicking through and, I got to take this course because I have to take this course, to people being excited to take the course?
I think there's a couple of things. One is, the first one is authenticity. Total buzzword, I know, overused, I got it. But really it is being able to convey the culture through whoever is on camera, whoever's speaking in the course, whatever is being delivered. Remember, from a learning standpoint or an education or instructor standpoint, everyone watching has to be excited about who's at the front of the room. Like, they have to want to see that person and be excited to listen to that person. So I think that's one of the keys, is to really make sure that whoever's on your camera, whoever's delivering, is authentic, because that conveys the culture. Whether it's an owner or a founder or somebody, they reflect the culture of the company. Don't be, I guess the word is, don't be boring. Allow the culture to come through. I think the other piece is a lot of us focus on, let's just say if it's tool adoption or if it's revenue generating activities, whatever industry you're in, a lot of us focus on that. Like, how are we going to improve the business? We don't think about that extrinsic value where, okay, if you care about the person personally, if you help them improve their personal finances, if you provide courses that go outside of whatever the scope of their job or career is, you now become, you're providing something that's more holistic, something that actually makes them feel great. And I know we've gotten a lot of value out of that when it comes to, 1099 employees are, I don't know, notorious for not managing finances well. It's paycheck to paycheck, usually large sums of money. So anything we can do to help them stabilize, invest for the future, retirement, whatever it might be, we get a lot of credit for that. It's not why we do it. We do it because we care about the people, but we get credit for it. People feel really good about our companies when we do something outside of selling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely about making sure people feel like they're part of something and that someone actually cares about them more than just making money for you.
Right. And then utilizing people across your company, across your organization for your academy too. Pulling people from across regions, pulling people from whatever the structure is. Getting a lot of participation from your people makes them feel great.
Yeah, great. Before we jump into the Q&A, do you have any last minute, anything you want to share?
I think I was really disappointed a few weeks ago. I talked with an owner of a company, and I know a lot of you. I think most of you mentioned you already have an academy, right? But I think this is something for ongoing, also, which is I talked with the owner of a really large brokerage in the States, in Texas, and real estate specific. And I was asking him what LMS he used and what they were doing for an academy. And he said, I don't really know. We just signed up with something. And I was going through his P&L and looking at what he was spending on this particular line item. And he couldn't tell me anything about it. He's like, oh, I don't think it's important. I just dished it off to somebody else. Now, the line item, the dollar amount was really high for something that the owner doesn't care about. And so what I would say is, whatever role you're in, if you need to capture someone's attention to make sure that there's an investment in your academy with the ability to market it, the ability to, like we were talking about, market to either your own staff, people, audience, whatever, do everything you can to get their attention, to push it, because it is important from a cultural standpoint beyond revenue, like we said. The last piece is don't be afraid to promote. If there is, Ariel, this is what you said, which is, it has to be buzzworthy. So if it is buzzworthy, let's create some buzz. Don't be afraid to promote, because I think it was P.T. Barnum who said, without promotion, you end up with nothing. So that's a phrase. Actually, I have it posted I don't remember where now. It's posted somewhere. But it is important. Sometimes we don't want to over promote, but if it is buzzworthy, people won't be annoyed if there is value in it. So if your academy is buzzworthy, don't stop promoting. Keep going if you know that it's going to be valuable for your teams, people, staff, organization, don't be afraid to promote it.
All right. Well, thank you for all of your amazing insights, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you for the invite. I don't know if my insights were amazing, but I really appreciate being here in this conversation, and I'm honored. So thank you.